Hi everybody. So we're starting a few special videos here, and let me just start off by apologizing real quick that this is only 720, not 1080. It's a long story. I'm using a separate camera. Anyway, so what we're doing, and I kind of alluded to this a few videos back a few weeks ago, that I was going to start doing some more work on avionics and electrical equipment, and so this is the beginning of that. And what I'm doing is basically it's kind of an unboxing. So what I've done is I've ordered a whole bunch of basic electrical stuff that I would need, uh, starting with the very what I thought would be simple task of just wiring up the nav strobe position lights that you'd seen me working on several months back. So the fly LEDs, and I'd alluded to those again when I was working on the wingtips and making the cutouts and making sure that the lights fit. So I thought, you know what, I really got to get into I got to get into the wiring, so I'm just going to dive head first. And so went on to steinair.com, and I'm going to add their link to my description below. And you can see that I've started. I'm accumulating stuff. So I've got some basic cable, I've got some 22 gauge black, some 18 gauge black, and from everything that I've read, I can do 90% of the wiring for my plane in those two size gauges. So that's good. There you see a nice big roll of, let's see, was that? Yes, okay, so the first one was two conductor shielded 22 gauge wire, and that is three conductor shielded 18 gauge wire. So that's some beefy stuff. That right there is for the nav strobes. That's like 80 feet of it. And those are going to transverse across the wings back and forth. So those are the wires. I said before I needed to replace the wires in the wings, and that is what it's being replaced with. Also got a nice grouping up of some 18 gauge white. Now all of this is high mil spec Tefzol, meaning Teflon coated wire. Two things that are special about it. One, super high quality. Like I said, it's mil spec, which means it's military grade. And two, it's airplane wire. So Tefzol wire is used in airplanes because, God forbid, if any of it ever starts burning, you're not going to die from noxious gases being released by the cable shielding. And actually, what I really need to do, now that I've been doing this for a few days, what I really need to make sure to do is I need to order just a whole spool of that white and that black wire. Right. So one of the things that let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So real quick. So while we're running through these parts here, so what you see me holding in my hand there, those are solder splices. Whoop. Not that close, dumbass. So solder splices are used. So you see that shielded wire. Basically, what shielded wire is a whole bunch of wires bundled together and then surrounded by a metal. I'm not even sure, like a metal mesh, like a turtleneck, just a shield all the way down the wire. And there you see me playing with some switches. So the idea behind shielded wire is that uh, as you have long pieces of wire, they're susceptible to pick up background radiation, RF radiation. If you have wires in a big bundle and one of them is very, very powerful, it's going to be basically creating its own magnetic field, which can introduce extra signal into other wires around it. And that's how you wind up getting things like noise on your radios or bad, you can hear the pulsing whenever you have like your beacon going off. If you got a high powered beacon, like you have an old halogen beacon that's like 200 watts or something silly. So, yeah, that's what shielded wire is used for. So I need that for the wing lights. Or at least that's what the nice diagram from the man that runs Fly LEDs, Paul, put in the instructions. So that's what I got. I want to do it right. To avoid those kind of noises that we're talking about, what you have to do is you have to run the power out to the device that's using power, and instead of just having the return line come all the way back to a central point and then wind up feeding back into the battery, some people just have you ground the items that are using power like right next to it. Yeah, does that work? Sure. But you also get a lot of noise because now you're basically in a ground loop where the power is going to try to return back to some kind of source, and where it's going to do it is through the frame. So you're going to have noise through the frame, and that's how you wind up getting noisy headsets, noisy radios. I don't want that. I want clear as a bell. So along with the wire that you see, I also got a nice bag of switches. Those are really cool. I love playing with those things. I actually bring one to work, and it drives all the people around me batty because I'm just sitting there clicking it back and forth like some kind of OCD patient. With apologies to anyone that's OCD. And at the same time, I ordered a whole bunch of Molex connectors. Molex, for those of you who do not know, that's basically this real just convenient kind of cable connection system. We're just going to call it a company. It's not. It's a whole just mess of it. Anyway, so I got a whole bunch of those to replace the ones that I had to get out. And now there's the beauty right there. So there is the tail light. There's the Fly LEDs tail light. Very beautiful product. And what you see on that little warning label there says, warning, do not connect to a 12-volt battery source. You will burn the LEDs out. Only connect the tail light to the control board, which we do later. Not in this video, but you'll see it eventually. And it's, man, this thing lights up the room like a sun. So yeah, that's basically most of what we'd so this video really was just an introduction of, hey, we're moving some electronics, and here's the equipment that we're starting with. So it's just a whole bunch of wire. I've also pilfered a whole bunch of tools from the hangar, which is fine because our mechanic has his own tool. Actually, his tools are better than the ones that I'm using. But I just thought, why not? I'll just take some wire crimpers. I'm starting to also, collect my own electrical tools because I need to have them all. Why? I don't know. Because I'm a dude. Anyway, here's me taking care of one of my biggest pet peeves with those damn bags of air. Just drives me crazy. Oh yeah, so, and aside from doing electrics, we're also getting into the dark side of fiberglass, and that's actually making the epoxy primer. Using epoxy, filling it with filler, sanding, and there it is. So what I've bought is just a little 1-quart size 5-to-1 mix from a company called Total Boat. There's some mixing cups there that show you everything. Now this system is great, and there's a few systems out there like that where you buy the bottles of epoxy, and it's a 2-part epoxy, but the bottles come with these nice pumps, and the pumps automatically measure the amount that you need. It's fantastic because I don't want to fudge it up. So and there the pumps are right there. So anyway, we're going to be juggling between this and the hanger, back and forth. I'm going to try to group all the electric stuff together, but in the next video, you're going to see some wiring, and I probably will narrate most of that live as well, which will be strange for everyone, but it's easier for me. So anyway, see you later.